Many actors have lead roles in just one or two films and then effectively vanish, their careers ending as quickly as they began. By and large, these actors, the stars of films that have themselves been generally ignored, are quickly forgotten. No one questions who they were, what brought them to the point where they briefly became movie stars of one sort or another, and then what happened to them after their fleeting brush with fame ended. But behind each of these lost stars is a life untold, one that might be more interesting and productive than anyone knows. One such person was Tacey Robbins, who made one exploitation film in the 1960s, but did much more with her life than you might expect. Movie director Adamson was nothing if not pragmatic. Encouraged by producer Sam Sherman, Adamson would continually rejig his older movies into new versions, each new edition moving further and further from the original concept in the hope that one might hit box office gold. No film was poked around with more than his second movie, Psycho A Go-Go, which began life as Echo of Terror, a reasonably gritty and solid crime movie in 1965, before the title was changed in an effort to hit the youth and perhaps the raincoat market with a go-go dancing theme crowbarred in.
Now, a motion picture of pulse-pounding excitement, of desire inflamed to madness and murder by the wild, provocative young bodies of the Go-Go Girls. Who are the Go-Go Girls? How do they live? Some live only for kicks, and they take their love where they find it. Anywhere, anytime. They get their men. But sometimes it's the wrong kind. A psycho who gets his kicks a different way. The most terrifying of them all, a madman who murdered to a wild rock beat. See Psycho A Go-Go. What fiendish horror lurked in the mind of this sadistic madman? Who were the victims of this hideous monster's orgies? What horrifying role did a little girl and her doll play in his savage, midnight world? Psycho A Go-Go. His hate and twisted cravings suddenly focused on this one beautiful nightclub star. What drove this maniac to take her any way he could? And he would kill anyone who stood in the way of his insane desire, including her.
Over the next few years, the film was continually reworked with additional footage featuring John Carradine and Adamson regular, that retooled it as a science fiction movie under the title The Fiend with the Electronic Brain, then further re-edited, spliced and chopped into The Man with the Synthetic Brain and Blood of Ghastly Horror, both of which upped the horror elements and left very little of the original film.
Now, human zombies rise from their coffins as living corpses in blood of ghastly horror. Voodoo witchcraft transforms beautiful women into 1,000-year-old mummies.
Joe Corey died, and a psychotic killer was born.
I can't believe it.
It's true. Joe's last days were spent as a hunted mad animal.
See a doctor invent a weird artificial brain component and create an inhuman fiend who commits acts of shocking and brutal horror. It's a frightening and fantastic visit with those who will not die, and they want your company now. He must possess the living to stay alive.
There's a good chance that undiscerning drive-in attendees and later VHS viewers would have found themselves watching the same film several times over the years. For the record, Psycho A Go-Go is the best version, but fans of absurd cinema will find something worthwhile in all of them, and the Severin Films Al Adamson box set allows you to compare and contrast the various editions of this and other Adamson films. One constant throughout the various versions of Psycho A Go-Go was star Tacey Robbins, whose position in the credits would depend on which fading names like Carradine or Tommy Kirk Adamson had roped into his new footage, but who was the female lead of the original film. This was her only acting role, but Robbins had a more interesting career than you might think. Psycho A Go-Go opens with Tacey as Linda Clark, nightclub singer, belting out the magnificently groovy garage soul song My LA in a club surrounded by shimmying go-go girls. The film certainly sets out its stall from the opening scene. The movie also finds room for another musical number performed by her, Ordinary Guy. The two songs were written by Billy Storm and feature the Vendells as her backing band. The group also appear with her in the movie. Both tracks were released as a movie soundtrack single by Robbins in 1965 with My LA as the A-side. Sadly, the Rev Records single was as unsuccessful as the film, though these days an original copy wouldn't leave you with much change from $100. It proved to be her only recording, but the release was just a minor part of a long and impressive singing career. Tacey Robbins was born Joan Diane Musser on the 19th of May 1938 in San Mateo, California. She married young, possibly as young as 15, and became Joan Murray, giving birth to daughter Deborah in 1955. A talented singer, she would adopt the more exotic-sounding Tacey Robbins as a stage name, which she used into the early 1970s. How she first got involved with Al Adamson is unclear, but it seems that Al had a thing for Tacey, and worked as her manager/promoter, as well as running a nightclub where she worked for a while before his film career began in earnest. His managerial role seems more a way of starting a relationship with her than anything. She, however, was not interested, even though she was living at his Palm Springs house. For her, Adamson was just a friend and a business acquaintance, while Al wanted more than that, something that seemed to run through his life with his leading ladies with varying degrees of success. Casting her in the leading role of the film was, it seems, both a way of promoting Tacey's career and part of his attempt at seduction. But Tacey would prove to be a capable actress, and her musical numbers remained the high spot of the movie. Apparently she wasn't paid for her work on the film, and at one point was injured during the shoot, requiring hospital treatment. But nevertheless, it was an experience that she enjoyed, though it would be the end of her relationship with Al Adamson as he moved more into movie making and their ways parted. Naturally, she was unaware of the film's strange ongoing life until one day she stumbled across Blood of Ghastly Horror on late night TV and was amazed and amused to discover that she was the unwitting star of a lurid horror movie with rampaging zombies. Curiously, it turns out that this wasn't her only film appearance. Yes, I said earlier that Psycho A Go-Go was her only acting role, but she makes a significant, though uncredited appearance as herself in the weird 1964 slasher-cum-sexploitation movie The Las Vegas Strangler, also known as No Tears for the Damned. This odd, sleazy little affair sees the titular character taking a tour of Las Vegas night spots, either because director William Collins had a taste for musical numbers, or because he needed to pad out the film. Either way, we get to see Tacey's name in lights dominating a billboard, and then see her on stage belting out a number surrounded by male backing dancers. It's quite a performance.
You're the soul of the demon of love. You're the heart that devours the dove. I'm the prey of a shark when you kiss in the dark. You're my devil, my demon of love. You're the devil down deep in my heart, and you're starting to tear me apart. Possess me, my demon of love. Burning alive with desire, and the flame's getting higher and higher. I'm consumed by the glow. It's too late now, I know you're the devil, my demon of love.
The film didn't see release until 1968, by which time her acting career and any movie ambitions that she might have had were long behind her. If Psycho a Go-Go and its various incarnations were a dim memory in later years, it's entirely likely that she completely forgot about making this film, and I doubt that she had any idea what she was being filmed for. Notably, she has no interaction or shared screen time with the actors, and given that several of the people involved in the film would become Adamson regulars in later years, it seems entirely likely that he arranged to have her performance featured as a promotional piece, hence the close-up of her name on screen. Nevertheless, The Las Vegas Strangler is a rare, seemingly unique record of her main career. While acting didn't work out for her, she had a long and successful career as a nightclub singer, touring venues and singing with the Damaso Perez Prado Orchestra, the Vandells, and others throughout the 1960s. She almost had her big break soon after the Adamson film when she was offered the chance to sing the title song for the movie What's New Pussycat the same year. Unfortunately, before she had a chance to sign a contract, the producers decided that a better-known male singer was more suited to the song, and she was replaced by Tom Jones. Hey, if you're going to be bumped from the project, you might as well be bumped by the best. And if 1965 hadn't been an exciting enough year for her, with a movie role, a single release, and almost working with Burt Bacharach, she also remarried that year. Despite the best efforts of Adamson, she married Dan Mahoney and the couple moved to Lake Tahoe, where they would raise a family. Son Sean born in 1966 and Daniel 2 years later. But she maintained her career performing in shows across the country, from Las Vegas to Hawaii, performing with the likes of Rowan and Martin and appearing in high-profile venues such as Dean Martin's Dino's on Sunset Boulevard. Known as the girl with the velvet eyes and the Mink voice, she had an impressive career that ran into the 1970s. This was no disposable occupation, and the fact that she didn't get to make records or movies after 1965 means nothing. Tacey Robbins had, by any standards, a very successful and worthy career. In the 1970s, Tacey would again become Joan, retiring from show business for the most part, though she would continue to sing on and off for many years until her health declined. She would qualify as a bookkeeper and for many years worked alongside her husband in his construction company. Tragically, this would ultimately lead to her death after she contracted asbestos-related mesothelioma in 2006. Like many people, she'd been exposed to the lethal substance decades earlier, and the cancer had lain like a time bomb. She died in 2008, a month before her 70th birthday. A few years before her death, her cousin Bonnie discovered that Psycho a Go-Go had been released on disc by Troma, and bought a copy for Joan, who could finally share her movie appearance with friends and family. I hope she enjoyed it and had good memories of a strange mid-60s adventure. I can only imagine what she would make of the 30-disc box set of Al Adamson's movies released on Blu-ray, or the fact that it immediately sold out its initial run. There are many nightclub singers who are now completely forgotten, performers who maybe didn't have the breaks as recording artists, but nevertheless had long and successful performing careers. In that sense, Tacey Robbins was more fortunate than most, ironically by appearing in a film that no one went to see and that critics have widely dismissed. Al Adamson's cult reputation has grown over the years. Those of us who stumbled upon his work on VHS in the early 1980s and were so astounded by it that we would start to actively seek it out have long understood the weird appeal of his oddball movies, and Tacey's belting performance at the start of Psycho a Go-Go has always been admired by fans who also have a taste for 60s girl groups and garage pop indie releases. It feels a real loss that Tacey Robbins didn't get to record more, but at least her appearance in the movie has ensured that she's immortalised on film and on record. While the original disc is now a rare item, her songs have turned up, officially or otherwise, on compilations of 60s obscurities. She may never quite have known just how much of a following her work was developing over the years, but I hope she'd be pleased to know that a whole new generation, often not born when she was at the peak of her success, is now enjoying her work, and that her record is so collectible.
Now for a final show, the very lovely Linda Clark.
Mother told me, yes she told me, when I was young and played with toys. When you get older, you gotta get bolder. You're gonna wanna play with boys. When you find out what life is all about, you need a love you can't destroy. You just find yourself, go out and find yourself an ordinary boy.
Are you a fan of Psycho A Go-Go, Al Adamson or Tacey Robbins? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoy these delves into lost history, then make sure to like this video, and if you haven't yet done so, subscribe to The Overlooked Hotel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.